Hey, folks, welcome to the Agency Side Podcast. I'm your host, Justin Levinson. Today, I'm joined by Amy Baril, President and CEO of Tango Collaborative. Amy has built her career around delivering innovative solutions and award-winning campaigns for clients like Sherwin-Williams, Audi, and NASDAQ. She spent more than 9 years leading the team at Tango Collaborative, where she focuses on people-first leadership, strong client relationships, and building a culture that encourages bold, creative thinking. Thank you so much for being here today, Amy.
Thanks, Justin, for having me. I'm looking forward to our conversation.
Yeah. The first thing I always like to get into is just the origin story. And maybe you can tell us, how you got into marketing and advertising.
Sure. So I went to Virginia Commonwealth University, go Rams, here in Richmond, Virginia, and I got my degree in mass communications and public relations. Had no idea what I wanted to do and sent my resume out to so many people. It's when we faxed resumes and received a call back from Circuit City. I don't know if you remember Circuit
Yeah, I
City,
do.
Big Box Electronics. And they said, "Would you like to come and be an assistant media buyer?" And I said, "Absolutely. What is that?" And so went in and unbeknownst to me, I was the director of ad sales at my newspaper on my college campus. So I was already in media and I got trained up there. It was a fantastic program. And then I got a call to move over to the Martin Agency and worked there for a couple years. Loved it, learned a ton. Then I got a random headhunter call to go down to an agency in McKinney, which is in North Carolina. They're fabulous. And I stayed there 11 years and I grew up and learned a ton. I felt like I had done all I could do there. So I decided I would go to the dark side and I would go on the client side of things and went over to Blue Cross Blue Shield, North Carolina. And it was actually right at the beginning of the Affordable Care Act.
Mm,
That was head spinning. I learned so much. I learned things I loved. I learned things I didn't love
yeah.
about being on the client side. And then I had moved down to Raleigh for all those things and I missed my hometown. And so my husband and I decided to move back to Richmond and I opened up just my own consultancy and worked for myself for a good while. Got another random phone call. Always pick up the phone
I
because
love that.
got another random phone call from an agency called NDP, which is our former name of Tango, that they needed some help on the national media front. And I had a lot of great experience with that. So they hired me as a consultant. I worked with them for 4 or 5 months and they asked me if I wanted to join them. And I said, absolutely not. I loved being my own boss. But they talked me into it. Such great people. So I joined the team and was a media director and it just moved up. I mean, I just kept working hard and I love the people. So it was an easy job to really love going in every day. And then, our CEO decided he was ready to move on to other things and looked at me and said, "I think you should take the reins." And I said, "I think you're crazy." But I took the position and it has been the best job. And it's something that I'm very proud of, certainly, but it also has been just the best gig I've ever had.
Yeah, that's interesting. And you have a very unique experience being both having the client side and the agency side experience. I do love your tip there to take the call because I always talk to people if a recruiter makes a phone call and calls you about an opportunity. It's always worth taking the phone call and listening because you just never know. A lot of times recruiters are reaching out to people who are not looking for something new, busy in their own job and they like what they're doing, but they're so busy they might not be aware of what else is out there. So when you take those phone calls, sometimes it can be really life changing, which it seems like happened to you.
It's also a really great way to kind of do your own report card because what have you done? What have you done in the last year?
Yeah.
It's your resume builder. What have you been proud of? What have you not been proud of? What's been hard? So it really kind of keeps you moving forward too.
Definitely. It keeps you sharp too, taking a meeting, talking to somebody and sort of it's in a way it can be like an interview. So it's definitely good practice because some people it's like, they don't take the call, but then they need to take the call and they don't have the practice and the reps in to answer those questions. And so yeah, that's really great that you encourage taking the call. I appreciate that. What did you notice as the biggest difference, I guess, from having agency side and client side experience?
Actually, there's actually not as many differences as you think there would be. I think there's this misnomer that if you go client side, it's going to be easier. It's going to be
Yeah.
less stressful. You're going to have all this time on your hands.
Yep.
And that couldn't be further from the truth. I think what it really taught me is to understand what clients are going through day in and day out. I'm a big fan of believing in you have no idea what someone went through the minute they walked in the door, what kind of meeting they came out of, what kind of situation they were in. So have an open mind. It taught me how important it is to have relationship building skills because even at on the client side, you are constantly negotiating for what you want. You're constantly trying to fight for what your team needs, what you believe in, what you think is going to move the business forward. And
Yeah.
that may not be the same thing that someone else across the table is looking to do. So there are a lot of similarities to it. I think it definitely taught me a lot. It taught me that I don't love being in the politics of things.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to help bolster, lift people up and try to get them through what they need to get through. But the day to day of it can be a real grind.
Yeah. A lot of people I speak to are always, they say the exact same thing. Oh, if I moved, client side, it's going to be easy. The hours are going to be better, and there's always, yeah, I mean, it's not always that way. And a lot of people on the agency side miss out on really great opportunities because they have in their mind, I'm only going to move for a client side position. And I'm always encouraging people like, hey, again, like you said, take the call because you could keep moving your career up on the agency side, not waiting necessarily for the client side. Not that that's a bad thing, but there's a way to sort of move your career forward either way. So obviously your path has taken you to the CEO position now. What's been the transition like, now in this sort of top leadership position?
Sure. I think the biggest transition points were realizing I don't have to do everything. I don't have to be the person that does every single thing and in charge of every single thing. The best thing that I did was have and hire people that are way smarter than me to be on my leadership team and to be at the agency. Without them, I wouldn't be here. No way. They are brilliant. They are able to challenge me, challenge one another. At the end of the day, I'm making the call, I'm making the decision, but it has been really interesting as a growth opportunity for me to let go and let people do their jobs, and they're phenomenal at it. So why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Did you ever watch the show West Wing?
I have not actually. I've definitely heard of it, but I don't think I've watched it.
Well, it's based on the presidency. Jeff Bartlett is the president. And, he basically says, I surround myself with smart people. And I think I've just gravitated towards that. I surround myself with smart people. I may not know all the answers, but I certainly have, amazing people around me that can help me find the way.
I love that. And you guys have been featured as like best place to work, by Adage. And maybe you can tell us about like your, how you've built that culture, what that kind of looks like.
Yeah, I think it really is grounded in, treat others as you want to be treated. I think I've always been someone that believes in being on a team and being a team player. I've also always believed that you never know, like I said before, what someone's going through. So have an open mind. I believe that clear is kind. So when you're having a challenge, just be a straight shooter, but you can certainly be kind about it. There's no need to get ugly. There's no need to raise your voice. I think it's really important to allow people to recharge. I think it's really important to invest in people and to give them developmental opportunities. We do a lot out in the community as well, so they get to break free from the day to day being in the office. And I think just practicing those things has helped other people feel like it's a great place to work. I mean, we have an average tenure in the double digits of folks
Wow.
that work with us, so we're doing something right.
Yeah.
But we try to really walk the walk and talk the talk of a collaborative spirit.
Yeah. What is the kind of stuff in the community that you're doing just out of curiosity?
We've done everything from like James River cleanup to Feed More, where you go and you create meals for elementary school kids, to we literally just worked with the United Way this past 2 days ago and put together packets for underprivileged kids in elementary schools. So we have a great team that loves to be able to give back, and anytime we can support it, we will.
Yeah, that's amazing. So you guys do that as a team? Like you get together and all kind of
Totally.
volunteer for a day or whatever?
That's exactly right.
That's really cool. That's
Yeah.
really cool. I haven't heard a lot of agencies that are doing something that's so, giving back to the community like that. I really like that. Cool. Just kind of getting into like the culture and stuff. I'd read that you had I think it was on a post or something I'd seen you had mentioned like humans before brands.
Hmm.
And I was kind of interested in if you could elaborate
Sure.
to what that actually means. Thanks for tuning in, folks. This episode is brought to you by Coming Up Creative, a relationship first boutique creative recruitment agency. We disrupt the creative ecosystem by running sophisticated, multi channel campaigns with custom video and voice outreach that actually gets responses. We actively market the agencies and brands we represent to help them stand out to today's industry's top talent, all backed by real human connection and AI powered targeting. If you're ready for a modern recruitment approach, visit www.comingupllc.com and get started today.
So I'm going to give you a little bit of a long winded story, if that's okay.
Yeah, please.
We rebranded 3 years ago. So it was about the time when I took over. It was started as we just wanted a new logo. And we very quickly got to the point where we were like, you know what? If we're going to do this, let's do it right. And we dug in and we got into our mission, our vision, all that good stuff. And at the end of the day, what kept bubbling up was the people that work at Two Tango are just different. They're the way they work together. We don't work in silos. I know a lot of people say that, but we literally do not work in silos. Our creative, our media, our strategy teams all work together hand in hand. We believe that's the same way that you should be working with your clients side by side. We don't get in front of them. We don't, linger behind them. We're with them every step of the way. We also have a different approach, I think, where we truly believe that when you're trying to do great work, you have to put the human at the center of the work. And I mean, like, who are you trying to reach? What are their behaviors? What are their attitudes? What are they about? I don't even care about the brand at that point. I dare say, as a CEO of an ad agency, it's truly about what is that beautiful insight that's going to allow us to then connect with them and allow us to be able to build out great stories for the brand to be able to move them forward. So that's a lot of where the humans before brands came. It also came from our culture. Everything I just told you, where we put our people first. We don't want people burning out. We don't want them to get frustrated and overwhelmed. We're a business, so we got to work hard, but we do everything we can to pave the way so that it's an enjoyable experience.
Yeah. And are you guys working remotely too, or is it a hybrid, or how does that work?
We're hybrid. We have a couple folks that live outside of Richmond, and so we do everything we can to make sure they feel well connected. We also are hybrid, so we're at least 2 days in the week in a week. Ugh, 2 days in the office,
Yep.
and the other days up to you. And we have folks that want to be in. They actually enjoy. We have a beautiful space. So they enjoy coming into the office. We also ask if there's things where we're like, hey, we got this great brainstorm we're going to be doing, or we have a client presentation where we really feel like it's more impactful to have everyone together. We ask folks to come in. But again, we actually like each other.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool that, people come in more often than not, I would say these days.
Yeah. How do you typically find talent?
It's not easy, and we're willing to look anywhere for talent because again, it's about the person. I guess we haven't hired anyone, gosh, in probably 2 years. The last few folks that we've been able to come join us have been word of mouth. It's been somebody knows somebody,
Yeah.
and they know they're a phenomenal person to work with. I'm a big person that goes with my gut. I get a good connection with someone right away, or I kind of get that spidey sense that tells me
Yeah.
may not be the best fit. But we also have a lot of people talk to you when they come into the agency to make sure that we're getting all angles and all kind of insights into how someone may be a good partner for us for the future.
Yeah. Well, it seems you might not need to be doing as much of that because the retention is so high. Everyone's staying for so long. That's a great thing. Cool. Well, the next sort of subject I'm interested in getting into about the industry, and this is something that I feel like you might be able to tell us about, is just like with your experience, is the evolution of media, and maybe how, as someone who's been in this industry for quite some time, what strategies have you seen that have sort of changed?
I am blown away at how things have changed and, quite frankly, how rapidly they've changed. I also am a person that believes in history. So I think history repeats itself. So I think some things end up coming back, but the evolution is obviously digital. When the World Wide Web, the series of tubes, the internets all came, it definitely kind of blew open in a great way, different ways for us to connect with folks, as did social media. And now it's AI. But I would say at the end of it, it's still about understanding who are you trying to reach. We can sit there and say, yeah, you should be on Hulu, or you should do some programmatic buy, or you should, follow them throughout this journey. And that's true. But you also have to understand, what are their value systems? What do they believe in? What do they really care about? You got about less than 8 seconds to connect with them. So being able to connect with the goldfish, so to speak, is really important. So I think, it's going to continue to change. I think it's going to be something that people, I think, are becoming more and more aware of their data and starting to shut down certain things. So again, we have to stay on top of what are the other ways and opportunities for us to create an experience with them to tell our stories.
Yeah. Um, I think I'd seen something too as well. Maybe it was a post that you had highlighted, a project that was all like handmade, hand drawn, handwritten, hand played music. I don't know if I'm getting this right, but I think I remember seeing something, and how, I guess, is the thing I'm getting to is, like, do you see as like human things becoming of more value now?
I think so. I think, we use AI. We use it for tools to be able to help us be more efficient at things. But at the end of the day, we believe in that human factor. We believe in the art and the science of things. I think that people are aware when something is inauthentic. And I think when you remove the human element completely, you are in danger of losing that authenticity. So I think there's a balance, and I think you have to understand and be thoughtful about the tools that you're using, make sure you're using them correctly, and use what's right for you and what's right for your client. That
Yeah.
may not be everybody.
Yeah. How do you find out what like tools are going to be successful for you?
It's so overwhelming. It's trial and error. We tend to we also have we ask our staff all the time. Like, we work with them and say, "Hey, what are the top 5 things that you're seeing right now in the AI world?" Some people don't want to know. And you know what?
Yeah.
That's okay. That's fine. If that's your, we have one person at our agency that is like, if you mention AI,
Yeah.
he is cranky pants, and that's okay. That's totally acceptable,
Yeah.
because that's the reality of the world we're living in, and I think you need to hear all points of view to be able to figure out, what do you really wanna move forward with.
Yeah.
It's a lot of research, it's a lot of trial and error, it's a lot of what I would call superpowers. We also have some folks that love, kinda learning and testing and figuring out stuff. So, it's tapping into those talents and seeing what you find.
That's cool. That's sort of a group effort, finding the tools that are going to be a fit. I get hit up all the time. Agency leaders always looking to find AI innovation people. This has been like the top need I've had in like the last, I don't know, last 6 months or so. People are just like, need an AI innovation person, and I'm like, well, I need to know like the problem that you're trying to fix to find the person who can fix the problem, and they don't know the problem that they want to fix. And it's like,
They just know they need it.
exactly. So yeah, it's interesting how it's playing out in the industry, and I do understand why people don't, aren't as connected to it or open to it. I mean, as somebody who's an artist, I'm a songwriter. Some of the new Suno AI. I don't know if you're familiar with it, where you kind of can prompt and get like musical compositions. It's like a little bit, it's disheartening in a little bit, because sometimes it feels like something that I value so much has sort of been devalued. With when you have a prompt, you can be like, make a 60 sounding surf rock song this time signature and this beats per minute with this instrumentation, and push a button and then it cranks out, and you're like, wow, this is pretty incredible.
Mhm.
So I understand the person within your agency that might be a little cranky about it.
Well, I'm a huge music lover as well. So, and I love concerts and I love seeing bands, artists, and I of all kinds. I'm open to anything. And so I kind of equate AI to that as well. It's like when the music industry was not all orchestrated and technology didn't auto
Yeah,
tune everybody
yeah,
and all that good stuff, and then you would go to a concert and you would hear them and it was like, whoa,
yeah,
not at all what I was expecting.
yep,
And then on the flip side of that, you're pleasantly surprised when you have an artist that, can sing their heart out or create all their own music and you're just blown away. I think I also had a good friend of mine, he runs the Paragraph project down in Durham, and he equated AI to that scene in Good Will Hunting when Robin Williams and Matt Damon are sitting on the bench, and Robin Williams is talking about how you could probably tell me every single fact there is about Michelangelo. You could tell me what his technique is. You could tell me all of his great pieces of work, but you could never tell me what it's like to sit in the Sistine Chapel and look up and see a masterpiece. It's like that. I think there's a
yeah.
balance. I really do. And I just hope we don't lose sight of the true human centered approach to things because I think that's important.
Totally. I didn't know about West Wing, but I do know Good Will Hunting. I do know that movie. That was a great movie. I love the film scoring in that too. I think Elliott Smith did a lot of the music for that. Definitely a big fan. Do you think that there is a benefit to being an independent agency right now, opposed to like a big holding company?
I do. I feel for what the industry is going through right now with all the holding companies and what's happening and the consolidation and what that means for the workforce. Um, I'm certainly hopeful that all the folks that have had their life changed from all of the consolidation end up landing on their feet. I know there's always opportunities to streamline things. We have to do that as an independent agency, but it is refreshing to be able to make decisions and not have to answer to 10, 20 different outsiders. I think there is plenty of opportunity for us to be able to continue to, win new business and grow client relationships. There's plenty of work out there. You just got to find it, which is a whole nother podcast, I'm sure. But, I think there's a lot of great talent out there. And we certainly are ones that from time to time, because we're an independent agency and we're only 26 people, we have a great bench of freelancers that we use from time to time. And so the market has just opened up for us. So that's a benefit. And luckily we have a good reputation out there. So folks actually want to work with us. So, if and when we can, we absolutely support them any way we can.
That's amazing. And yeah, I think like great creative resource management is key in this new environment. Having that, bench of freelance talent that is, that can meet the demands and are dependable. I think that's there's a new model out there, which I think is a lean, mean, staff, full timers, and then a wide bench for when, and it just helps with the budgeting and being able to handle the work or not go broke when the work's not coming in.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And it's, that's what you have to look at.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really interesting. Any big wins or successes that you think that have come to the agency as of late that you'd be interested in? And
Okay, so I'm gonna share one. I gotta
cool.
share one for you. So, it's actually some work. It was a win in terms of growing a current client. And I have crypt notes because if I got this wrong, that would be a problem. So, the Virginia DMV, I know, hold your horses. The DMV, you can do great work. I'm telling you, they're phenomenal clients. And the city of Richmond needed a way to make drivers feel the danger of speeding, especially in school zones where if you even go 5 miles per hour over the limit, it could be deadly. So we literally partnered with physicists and transportation engineers to translate speed into something universal, which was height. And we created a speed ladder, a 5-story installation showing the equivalent fall height of someone at different speeds. And we literally had, and this, I'm telling you, I've seen it. It freaked me out. A professional climber brought to each level the impacts that it would have to their life, making the dangers of speeding not just comprehensible, but it truly, you felt it at the core. You watched this person go up, and 5 stories is no joke. It toured the city and it ended up getting global attention. We ended up getting press from like 10 different countries. The client was thrilled. Um, but it was a way to take something like, how do you really, and again, going back to that human connection, how do you help someone understand that impact of what speed is?
Yeah,
We just kind of flipped it on its head and came up with something different, which was really cool.
that is really cool. How did you guys think of finding these physicists and people to to collaborate with? How did that come to be?
So it was actually some research that the clients had, and we when we were digging through all of our stuff, we're like, "Nugget, this is interesting.
Yeah,
Okay. That's an interesting, parallel to try to explain how that works." And from there, the creative and strategy team just kind of unpacked it, and lo and behold,
brilliant.
great idea.
And so you're making even more inroads with that client for future opportunities.
Yeah, they've
That's
been
great.
thrilled.
Do you have any strategies for winning? I mean, obviously, creating great work wins new work, but is there any other sort of like, do you have any secret sauce if you're willing to share it?
I was literally just watching one of your podcasts, and I can't remember who I was watching, and he said there is no secret sauce, and I agree with him. There really
I was
is.
trying to get it.
I know, I know, I know. And I've talked to people about it because I would love to know it.
Yeah,
We don't have a dedicated person for new business. We spread it across a few people at the agency. I'm one of them. And we've all kind of naturally gravitated to different roles. So I'm usually more of a long game, trying to build some relationships, get in front of people, get our name out there. I've got someone who is amazing at just hitting people up on LinkedIn, talking to them, getting at, doing more of the cold call type of new business work, but he's got such a great expertise at it. I've got someone who is amazing at talking about what Two Tango is, and so she goes out on speaking engagements, gets in front of various panels. We obviously have a PR partner that helps us, and that's been tremendous in terms of getting our name out there. So, I mean, a lot of our growth has been, organic, word of mouth, which has been great. But we also do the tried and true answering RFPs, and doing all that hard work. So if you ever find out what that secret sauce is,
I think you got it. I think it's the,
please feel free to let me know.
I will. I love the, it sounds like you've got it coming from a lot of places. You have like organic, you're going to these panels with, you've got everybody kind of utilizing their strengths to, and creating good work. And I think that is the key. And I do agree there's no secret sauce in there. But it's just, yeah, I mean, I think time in the game and just doing good work, and the other stuff is just like mechanical. Like, yeah, I mean, a multi-channel campaign for reaching out or cold emails and cold calling, like that's a skill for sure. Not everybody has it, but yeah, it sounds like you guys are doing great.
I had someone tell me once, they were like, "Get famous." I'm like, "Okay."
Yeah, that's a tough one. Do you guys have any like big plans for for the rest of the year? Any things that you guys are trying to achieve?
We are, like I said, we rebranded 3 years ago, and so we're looking at what's our 2.0, and does it still hold water? We came out with, humans before brands, and then all of a sudden everyone started talking about the human-centric approach and da 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 da. So we're like, we knew it. We were there. We got it. But it's also just, keeping ourselves fresh. What does the market need? What are they looking for? And does it align with what we're true about in our DNA? So that's been our focus right now.
I love it. And I guess for the final topic here is what keeps you sane? What do you like to do for fun outside of work?
Like I said, I love music, friends and family, and I love reading and, hanging out with my husband and my daughter. I mean, just a good sense of humor. You have to have a good sense of humor in what we do in this field.
Yeah.
Um, so I think, just finding ways to have fun and laugh a lot are always what I'm going to go for.
What type of music in particular do you listen to, or favorite artists?
So my favorite artist is Dave Matthews.
Cool.
Big fan. So you probably know this, was Charlottesville, which is about less than an hour away from Richmond. But I saw him when I was in college when he would play frat parties.
Cool.
So just kind of grew up with him. But I love all different kinds of music. Love it
Yeah.
all. Yeah.
Uh, That's cool. Yeah, I've never seen Dave Matthews live, but I've have some of the tapes when I was in school and enjoyed them. My dad owned a music store. Um,
It's
back
awesome.
yeah, back when CDs and tapes were like it was really CDs were just kind of coming onto the scene, but people were actually buying tangible things.
And
And
unpacking
unpacking them. Yep,
thing
and
and reading all the insides in it and the
exactly.
lyrics and everything about what happened to go into the music.
Yeah, I mean, that was the thing, like, going to the mall and waiting for the FYE store, and buying that CD and holding it and putting it in the car, or not being able to put it in the car because it wasn't maybe we didn't have a car stereo, you still had the tape deck and you had to bring it home, or the skipping, Discman, I remember those things where they
Yeah.
would but, anyway, I remember, like, a lot I remember Dave Matthews was selling a lot of, discs in my dad's store, and, I
What is
remember
your favorite band?
well, I mean, I'm a huge fan of like 60s like rock and roll like and pop music. So I love the Beach Boys. They're one of my favorites. And I really love the Beatles, of course. And Paul McCartney solo stuff. And as far as like
You're hitting all the highlights of My Husband and Me.
oh really cool.
He plays bass and he's in a garage band, and they're doing a ton of Beatles, and they're doing
Nice.
Paul Simon and
Love Paul.
yep.
Yeah, I love all that stuff. But yeah, like some newer music, but I'm kind of out of touch with it. It seems like it's just there's almost too much of it to find a. It's not like back in the day where we're all sort of looking at the same music. You know what I mean? Like I think I was watching a Weird Al thing recently where he was saying that like he was having trouble doing parodies because like in the 90s we're all watching MTV. We're we all know the same hits, but now we don't even there aren't even like hits. Like everybody's kind of like listening to their own niche or sub niche. So yeah,
I have 2 artists for you so that you don't get overwhelmed.
please, yeah,
Okay, so one is Yola.
okay,
If you haven't listened to her, she's phenomenal.
cool,
And the other is Sammy Ray and Friends.
okay,
Both of those, I say that to you because of who you
yeah,
really
yeah,
gravitate towards. They've been really fun to watch and listen to.
cool. I'll definitely go back and listen to that. Are there any books that you are reading that you like?
I am just a junkie mystery reader. I do it for escapism.
Yeah,
I couldn't even tell you. I knew you were going to ask me what I just read, and I forgot to bring it, so I can't
no,
even tell you what it is. But
all
I
good.
love a good detective story and just try to escape and chill out on a Sunday
Yeah.
and read a book.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, I believe that you're a reader, so we don't need the title, but I totally get it. Cool. Awesome. Well, Amy, thanks so much for being on and chatting with us and offering value to the community. It's been a real pleasure to speak with you today.
Thanks for having me. It's been a lot of fun.
Awesome. Have a great rest of your week and weekend.
Okay, great.
All right. Bye.
Bye.